Right, we're on. This is basically the first episode of something that I want to be a daily habit of mine that I've tried to do for a very long time. It's to publish content, but unfortunately, it's something that comes very difficult because I have this perfectionistic, nature, and it's you know, I feel like I would disappoint people if I come up with something that is better than something that I could come up with. And at the same time, I know I can come up with really good stuff. I've done it in the past. The problem is I don't have time to do that. So it's like this is the only option that I have to publish. So this is the whole concept. I'm gonna live stream myself every day. Uh, Pretty much forever from now on, and it's going to be like a 20 to 30 minutes live stream. It depends. I'm going to do this for 3 months or so, see how it goes. I set up myself an alarm here. It's going to take it like 20 minutes, and then I'm going to decide, hey, I'm staying 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, depending on what we're talking. So what the content of this is going to be is I have two apps here. Probably we're going to go into Excel as well, but I don't want to go there today. First, this app is called Rome Research. Unfortunately, you cannot, as of today, as of May 8th, you cannot sign up to it anymore because they've been bombarded with signups. They were getting like 10,000 signups per day, and they had to close their system to new registrations, which is crazy. It's a very cool app. You're going to see pretty soon what it does. And second, we have Lucidchart, which is a diagram prototyping sort of app. Is very simple to make diagrams. So using those two tools, and then we're gonna be joined probably by Google Sheets or Excel. Using those three tools, I'm just gonna spill out my brains here for you for again 20 to 30 minutes every single day. And what we're trying to do is a very interesting concept. I'm trying to recreate marketing from scratch. This might sound like a terrible idea, the whole thing about not reinventing the wheel. Well, we're trying to reinvent the wheel because, in my opinion, the wheel is currently broken, right? For most companies and for most marketer, the wheel is not something that's round; it's more like a square. So it's a very inefficient system, it's a very inefficient process. Almost everything that people do. So I'm trying to come up here with new stuff, and at the same time, this is a disclaimer. It's not like I don't consider myself to be really advanced to marketing compared to like what I could be and the lessons that I could give and the knowledge that I could have. So even though for the majority of companies and marketers, like what I'm doing is absolutely crazy in terms of performance, um, I still think that I have a lot to learn, and I want to have this learning experience, and I want to basically share this learning with you, right? So if for 30 days, I'm gonna try and build new strategies, new ways of thinking, new ways of new perspectives, new ways of tracking stuff, new tactics, even. And this is gonna help me structure my thoughts. Every single day, I face like tens of marketing situations that challenge what I believe and what I think and how I should act. So this is going to be a very good time for me, those 30 minutes to kind of like unload what I thought about during that days. And it's going to come with different lessons, right? So this is almost like you embark along my journey of uh, scaling a company to $100 million revenue per year. That's one of the goals that I have, and that's going to be done with like no investment. It's gonna be insane. So lots of good stuff. I'm gonna be as transparent as possible when it comes to everything that happens here. So let's give it a go, right? We've already spent 5 minutes on the intro of this. This is gonna be like the only time when we talk this. All right. So again, this is going to be the place where I'm going to start sharing my thoughts. Like we spill some thoughts here, and to give you a very quick intro on how this tool works. For example, it's a tool where you link information, and you have different pages. So I'm going to give you an idea here. Let's say that I type the term influencer marketing. Okay, so I type the term influencer marketing here. And what I can do is I can create a page for influencer marketing, very, very simple. Boom, I click on it and this is the page, right? So I just created a new page for influencer marketing. And as you can see here, you can see all the pages that reference to this. So the May 8th is the page for today. This is where you kind of unload your daily thoughts and it links to this page. It's very awesome. Here I can type the word influencer. Let's just create a page from the get-go. Influencer, boom, right? And then you can see your whole graph. This is the graph of what I've been building here. It's not very large, but whatever. This is how it works, right? You create pages. Those pages have pages on their own, and it's very simple to connect your thoughts, right? So what we want to do is we want to come and discuss almost all the terms that you hear in marketing and what we think about them. We're going to structure our information. We're going to build this huge database of data, of information, of how to do stuff, how to track stuff, how to think about anything, resources, books, videos, courses, everything, right? We're just going to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and build this stuff, right? As every single day we're adding more information, this whole database goes bigger and bigger and bigger, right? It's going to be awesome. And here, obviously, text is not enough to kind of share information. You need some sort of visual diagram to help as well. It's very, very helpful to understand exactly what you're talking about. And then, of course, we need the numbers as well. We need to crunch some data. We need to crunch some numbers to make projections, to really understand if what we're doing has a chance of succeeding or not. And that's going to be exciting. Of course. So let's start with this. I'm just going to delete that page here. Let's see how we start. So I have no idea, right? Everything that you see here is just like brainstorm on the spot, right? Let's see how do we want to start this. Do we want to start really general and ask questions? Like this is going to be a very recurring theme. We start with some sort of a term, and then we ask a lot of questions about it, right? We ask the why, the what, the how, the when, the who, that sort of stuff, right? Do you want to do the same thing and start, very from the top, or should I start from a smaller concept and take it from there? I think I'm going to start from a smaller concept just to get the ball rolling here. Okay. Let's start. And let's write down marketing, right? Because that's what we're focusing on. Let's start write down marketing. I'm just going to create this as a page. Okay. There's probably no marketing yet. This is the first page. Okay. So marketing. Let me share my experience with marketing. My first story, how I got introduced, and some of the struggles that I had. In the beginning, I was not a marketer at all. I was actually a software engineer. I was in college and I was building my own app. The only reason why I went to learn programming was not that because I love to code. It was because I knew that it was the fastest way where I could build my own stuff, right? I really wanted to build something that I could kind of control, right? Some sort of a company. I didn't actually look to be an entrepreneur. That pretty much came afterwards. I was just like trying to build my own stuff, right? And I knew physical products were much harder, it required much more capital than learning to code. So I went to that college. And in the year two, when I started, I was really terrible coder. By year two, I learned a lot, coded a lot. So I was able to create my own app. I made my own app, spent like 6 months on it. And then me and a bunch of friends, we did that. And then we went to some pre-accelerators and all sorts of events aimed to help entrepreneurs here in Romania. And we were just crushed at the beginning because the biggest of them all, they really denied us. They said that we had shitty marketing, that we don't understand the users, we don't have an audience, and we've just built this for us, right? But us is not a user. No one would pay for it. We had 30 people come straight to my face and say that what I've worked for in the past 6 months was terrible. And the main reason for that was that because we had zero clarity around marketing. We didn't know who the user was. We didn't know what the product was exactly. It was all over the place. Uh, this was happening 4 years ago. Yeah, this was happening 4 years ago. So what I had back then was, I had this problem. And at the same time, the problem was all my friends. We were in this chemical, college, and it was like, man, it was my idea. I really wanted for it to succeed. So in my head, the only way, like I faced this problem, right? So I faced, there's, let's say, a successful app was what I was looking to get. So successful app was my goal. Okay, and to get this successful app, right? I thought, hey, I had to build it. So build the app, right? I mean, it's such a straight line between those two concepts. Right? Build the app, bang, successful app. And then I learned, hey, you actually have to market the app. Oh shit, right? Yeah. So this is, I think this should give you, if you're just starting out. So I think if you're just starting out, this should give you some sort of confidence, right? Because like within 4 years from having zero knowledge about marketing, I didn't knew anything about it. Actually, it's going to be very funny when I tell you the story of how I got started with marketing, but I didn't know anything about it. 4 years later, it's like I take brands from almost zero to 7-figure per month in like less than 12 months. And the process that I use to do this is exactly this sort of thinking that you're seeing here, right? I mean, this diagram has a lot of power in it to me. Back then it had, right? I mean, this realization, I didn't knew this existed, right? So for me, it was holy shit. This was a roadblock for me, right? I was like, holy shit. Okay, but I want my successful app, but wait a second, it's not enough to build it, right? You have to market first. So this disaster happened like back in April 2016. Yeah, back in April 2016. So it's been like 4 years, very funny. And I was really busy with college back then. So the second semester passed, and during the summer, I finally had the time to reconsider what happened, right? And I thought about this marketing struggle that I had. So what I did was I literally went online, went on Google, and searched marketing, right? So what do you think happens when you search marketing today? There's a lot of stuff about digital marketing, right? Almost all articles are about digital marketing. So yeah, search digital marketing. And what do you think happens or happened back in 2016? When you search digital marketing, you see social media marketing, right? So what do you think happens in 2016 when you search social media marketing? You see Instagram, right? Instagram was all the rage back then. It was flourishing, it was exploding, right? You had organic traffic back then. You had like 50% of your followers were seeing every single one of your posts. It was insane, right? It was in its glory days, Instagram. Actually started the decline. I think it had around 400 or 350 million users. So it was really big. It was still growing very fast, but it was a powerhouse even back then. So this is literally how it happened. So we had, I searched for marketing, right? That led me to digital marketing, right? That led me to this. And I was pretty happy because it led me to digital because I wanted an app. So I was like, of course, I need to promote the app online. And then I saw social media marketing. Man, I was so naive. I was just following those content marketing driven links, right? Where they give you zero essence. They give you zero substance in those posts, but whatever. So social media marketing, and then you saw Instagram. Okay, so I was like, okay, that means I need to learn how to market on Instagram if I want to be a successful social media marketer. If I want to be a success, and I need to be that because I need to be a digital marketer. I need to be that because I need to be a marketing. I need to learn to do marketing because I want to have the successful app that I would spend a lot of time working on. That was exactly my thought process, and this was happening back in August 2016. So I knew that I need to be good at Instagram marketing. The problem was I had no success measure. Like, how do you measure success, right? I didn't have an Instagram account back then. I didn't have a Twitter account. I only had like a Facebook account, and I was using that mostly because we had to for college. A lot of stuff was getting shared on Facebook. It was really fast. You were reaching your colleagues. Yeah, it was very convenient. So I made an Instagram account, and I saw pretty quickly that you have a bunch of success measures. Uh, so, for example, let's see some of them. I saw followers, right? You had to have followers. That was the success measure, the biggest one, right? You had to have followers, right? And then I saw that people also cared about engagement. So that was like the number of likes most important, right? So I knew, okay, I just need to have followers. Now that I think about it, it is so shocking to me how simple my mindset was. Like how driven by action and by the need. I had necessity to get this thing done, and that's why what I did was so simple, so short, so action driven. It was amazing. I wouldn't do this today, unfortunately, right? I would like build a diagram, I think, and that's not the right solution if what you're looking for is to get results. Yeah, well, right. So I knew I need to get followers, and then I was like, "Holy shit! How can I? How do I need to get followers? Well, I need to get followers to a page. I have to build my own page. Obviously, there was no way around that. So I had this huge imposter syndrome. I would have never went to a business and asked for me to handle their page so I can grow it. Right? I hate that sort of stuff, like doing something that you're not really you don't have the skills for. It's something that I wouldn't consider ever. So the only option was for me to start my new page. And this new page, it had to have niche, and the niche of this page was very important because a page. And this is one of the biggest lessons that I've ever learned in marketing. And that's kind of the topic for today that I wanted to discuss about, right? I figured back here that this is what I want to discuss about today. And I remember how I learned it, so I'm sharing this with you as well. Was that on Instagram, there were only two things when I break it down. I took a page, I took a like piece of paper, and I really drew like everything that needs to be done very, very methodically, very ergonomically. Like I was a robot back then, right? I would like zero motion, literally zero motion. So new page, right? What do you need to do? You need to have content that's pretty much defines everything. And then I understood very, very well at the beginning that you have to have distribution. Okay, you need distribution. You need to take that content and put it on a different smartphone. You need other people to see your content, right? That was a very important. That was a very important lesson for me. Content and distribution. Those two are the processes that define marketing. Any sort of marketing process or strategy or tactic or whatever you're doing, it almost always implies those two. You need to build content. You need to distribute content. If you actually understand those two processes, you will get so much chaos, so much overwhelm, so much fear, so much thinking that you cannot do something that you actually can do out of your whole world, right? Just consider everything that you're doing being half content, half distribution, right? You create the content, you distribute the content, right? Facebook ads, you create the ad, you distribute the ads. Email, you create an email, you distribute the email. Instagram, you make a post, you distribute a post, right? Everything is made out of two. So when you're building, when you're moving from a platform to platform, it shouldn't be that hard for you. I mean, it's the whole game. All you have to do is, hey, what type of content works here, and how can I be successful at distributing it, right? Okay, there you go. So the interesting part is that at least the distribution part is not the most obvious. People really think that they struggle with distribution, okay? But as you can see here, okay, there's the 20-minute alarm. I think I can finish this in like 10 minutes. So as you will see here, the distribution part is very obvious. It's very obvious most of the times, right? It is very simple. I can go on a new social platform, and I think within the first 2 hours, I can figure out all the ways that I can distribute. Okay, and it's not obvious at the beginning, but after I give you the whole spiel that I did back then, it's going to be very simple. The problem then becomes that in order for that distribution to be successful, so I'm going to give you the how. I'm going to give you the how. You're going to know exactly what to do. Then you also need your content to make sense within the type of distribution that you are making, right? So again, at the very beginning, I knew that I have to have a page, and on that page, I have to have some sort of a content, and then the most important like question I asked myself was, how do I build followers? Well, for someone to follow me, right? So I wanted followers. I wanted followers. I wanted for people the action that I wanted from a person. My conversion, I didn't knew what a conversion was back then, but I knew my goal was to get a follow. Get a follow. So what I asked myself was, how do I get a follow? Well, and I knew that to get a follow, I need for this step to happen every single time. There is no way to get a follow unless someone visits your profile. Boom, right? Someone visits your profile. That's the only way to get a follow. On your profile, they see some content, right? So you can write some intermediate step here. Like, I don't know, they look at your content, and that's where the content comes into place. But let's talk about distribution here first. So we can add a lot of steps here, right? They look at your content, they might like it, they might not like it, whatever. If they like it, you get a follow. But let's follow this a little bit on top of it. So they visit your profile. So if I know for sure that the only way to get a follow is for someone visiting my profile, now my problem of getting a follow, which by the way was the success measure that I had, was how do I generate a profile visit, right? It's exact like that was my bottleneck. I didn't have a problem that people looked at my content and didn't like it because I didn't have anyone to look at my content, right? So again, I knew that I need to make people visit my profile. So what I did was I took Instagram and I went into every single page that it has. Every single page. I clicked on all the buttons from top to bottom, left and right, every single tab. Again, remember, August 2016 was the first time when I downloaded Instagram. I had no idea how it worked. So I think it actually helped me because I had no idea. I was very curious how I can kind of, I was thinking about hacking it. I mean, like I was, hacking the service or anything. I was trying to figure out every single way of people, how can people visit my profile, and then I would do something to kind of make that process give me an advantage. So I understood that there are two ways. There was a internal and external. So I'm just gonna tell you about it. So I knew that people could visit my profile from within Instagram and from outside Instagram, right? And I decided that hey, I have zero following anywhere else. I don't have a blog. I don't have a website. I don't have anything. I don't even need to focus on how can I drive people from outside Instagram to my Instagram profile. So all I needed to do was figure out how I can drive people that are already on Instagram to my page. So I discovered ways to do that. I saw that, hey, there are people can either find my content in a list, in a feed within Instagram. And there were like, so for example, they were browsing a feed. And I think there were 3 feeds, right? There were their news feed. There was the let's see, there was the Explorer feed, and there was third one. So there was the Explore feed. You had you had the hashtag feed, and you had one more, but this one was very niche. You had like your friend activity feed, right? So you had those. News feed is very obvious. Explore feed is like the feed that you have when someone clicks on that search icon, and then there's a hashtag feed, and you end up there through the search hashtag as well. And then there's this fourth one, the friends activity feed, where you can see what your friends are doing, right? Where they're liking, what they're following, whatever. Almost no one goes there. Almost no one goes there, and almost no one goes to the hashtag feed as well. Even though everyone that talks about Instagram talks about hashtags, like hashtags were dead in 2016. Okay, every single engagement and interaction you're going to get through hashtags are from companies. They're not real. It's just bots. It's just bots, right? Bots. They just want to like a certain hashtag because that's how can they identify that you're within a particular niche that they're targeting. Whatever. So right, browsing a feed. Browsing a feed was one way of them coming up with a post of mine. So they would see a post of mine, my post, and then if they like that post, they would visit my profile. And then there was another one. Right? There was, if they saw a notification from my profile, right? They could see a notification, and if they were clicking on that notification, they would go to some sort of content, and that content could lead them to my page. And there were 3 back then. I think it's the same today. There's a like, there's a follow, and there's a comment. Okay, and there's actually, it's not just, nope. Sorry. It was not as simple. This was a, it's a little bit more complicated than this, but I'm just gonna keep it simple because we don't have a lot of time. So the main idea is that they see something from you, right? It's not just a notification. So they see something from you, right? Because let's say you leave a comment on one of Gary's V posts, they see that comment that he gave. This is not a follow, this is a comment. So they see this comment that you left, and then they check your profile, right? So it doesn't have to be a notification. The notification is what triggers them to see this, right? So they get a notification, and this is the way that you basically can force the system. You can force them to get their attention about the fact that, hey, someone has followed you, hey, someone has liked you, hey, someone has commented you, but it's not necessary. They can see that within the app without the notification, right? The notification just makes it very, very easy to get their attention when they're even outside Instagram. So it was huge, right? So I made this diagram, and I said, let me try and figure out what is the ROI of me focusing on each of those activities. And anyway, as you can see here, your content is very important here, because even if you get the visits, if your content sucks, you won't get that follow. If you don't get that follow, you won't succeed. If you won't succeed, you won't get what you want. Very simple, thought process that we have here. So I knew my first bottleneck was getting good content, right? Was I a good content creator? No, I didn't. I never created a piece of content before, right? So what do I do? Well, I come up with this idea that I need to curate content, because there was no way where I would become a good enough content creator in the time that I wanted to get good both at distribution and production at the same time. It was just impossible. So I came up with this idea of basically creating content. So, curating content from other people, and let me take you to the page that I built. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so I was actually very passionate about travel, and I came up with this idea of creating a page that promoted cool places from Romania. At the beginning, it was even more niche than that. I wanted to promote places from Romania that are not as well known, right? Like villages, a mountain, uh, passes, lakes, this sort of content that I thought that really needed to be shared. And this was my experiment back then. I think you can backtrace the date if you scroll. It's like August 2016, and this page got to like within after 8 months or so, we got to 30,000 followers. Unfortunately, this page is completely abandoned. I cannot, yeah, I think I haven't posted in like 1 or 2 years on it. So it's pretty sad. Like we lost 5,000 followers. But I mean, man, this page has really reached its purpose. Um, me learning how to do what to do about marketing. It has reached its purpose. 30,000 followers with zero marketing experience. Haven't ever had an Instagram account back then in 8 months. And what happened from the point where I started this to it getting to 30,000 followers is going to blow your mind. Like, I got from zero marketing experience, August 2016, to working with insane brands around February 2017. Absolutely insane. We generated in the year that followed, so around 1.5 million followers, I would say between, I don't know, between 1 and 2 million followers in less than 12 months after I had zero experience, because I took the time to understand the process, right? I understood the process like this, and then I searched every single thing. How can I get into browse? Where they browse? How can I influence my post to get to the Explorer feed? How can I influence my post to get to the newsfeed? How can I get my post to the hashtag feed? How can I get my post to friend activity? How can I get more notifications? How can I see my page? How can I get content, right? So again, we found I would get content, good looking content from Romanian photographers. I emailed and messaged on Facebook and Instagram like 500 photographers at the beginning. I got their permission to use their post. Most of them accepted. I built this huge system, and then I got to work, right? So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna share some of the things with you. Let me give you something really fun that I. I told you we generated like millions of followers, and you might think, how the fuck do you do that? Well, we obviously found some sort of a exploit, I would say. Man, I'm trying to get his. Trying to find this post here. Yeah, whatever. So I'm gonna share some proof in the next episode about this as we follow the journey. But the idea is that the best way to get followers was through the Explore feed, right? That was the place because newsfeed they had to follow you, right? There was no way you would get in their newsfeed. In the hashtag feed, no one looked there. Friend activity, no one looked there, right? Notification, yeah, that was a good place or people seeing you commented. And in the first 3 months, that's what I did. I commented on every single post of any sort of a page that was within the Romanian travel niche. And I commented on people that traveled on and on the people that posted and seemed interested in the content. I liked their page. I liked their content. I followed the main influencers within the travel niche. And again, I was commenting on their posts so that someone that is already attracted and follows them could see my comment and click on my profile and like the content that I was having because I was curating the fuck out of it. I had the best Romanian photographers. Then they would uh, follow me. And what that did was it got me from zero to around, I think, 2,000 followers from August to December 2016. Yeah, I think I reached around 2,000 followers in December. And in December, something really interesting happened. And I said, holy shit, let me get this done. And I was not really focused. Like I did this as a hobby. I was spending maybe 2 hours every day, so I was not really into it. But back in December, something really strange happened, and I got to 6,000 followers, I think, within 2 weeks of that incident. And yeah, so the best way that we what we discovered is if you go in the explore page, I cannot unfortunately show you this. You have to go in your mobile app, but I'm just going to show you. So um, you go to the explore page, and when you click on a any of the content, you will see here below the name and the description a reason why that content has been picked by the algorithm for you. And here it says similar to accounts you interacted with, right? And what I did was got a list of all the reasons why a content was there, right? Why this content is getting listed there, because I want my content to be listed there. So if I know all the reasons, I can find the best reason that I could give to the algorithm to pick my post over anyone else's post, right? So I listed, I think there were like 6 reasons back then, but the one that was the most broken was based on uh, what I don't know remember the exact wording, but was based on what people uh, that you based on what based on what people like based on what you're following like. So I don't know if this is correct or not, the wording. So if you followed someone, let's say you follow Elon Musk and he likes another post, that was a good reason for Instagram to recommend you the post that Elon liked because you were following him, right? So what does that mean? Well, it means that if you can get a big account to like your content, a portion of their followers will see your content in the explore page. And that's how engagement group started. But we were not part of any engagement group, any engagement pods, whatever you call them today. Those are like the kindergarten compared to what we were doing back then. Like we were doing, I think we had 50 to 100 million followers in each round. It was like happening every single hour. That's how you grew accounts back then. I got, and I'm going to share you. You got on like a 0 follower account. You had the potential to get 500,000 impressions, right? So you're getting 250 views. You're getting 20,000 likes on a fresh new account by employing tactics that try to, again, it's an unfortunate word, hack the algorithm to get you in the explore feed because of this reason, because of some people liked followed an account and that account liked some other accounts. It was absolutely insane. But that was not the only thing you were doing. You had to pretty much do everything, right? You had to pretty much do everything. Guys, this is for today. We went over time here for sure. It's over 30 minutes. I think this was good enough. Again, first a realization that you have very, 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 very important new page, right? You have to understand this concept of content creation, content distribution. If you take anything from today's episode, take this. You have content creation and distribution, right? This gets you tons of clarity every single time. You think something is complex, don't think that. Just remember, content production, content distribution is going to simplify things for you. Just identify which is which. How do you distribute? How do you produce the content? What type of content works for that particular platform, particular channel? And you're better off than 80% of people. Simple, right? The rest of the people, 80% of people, they're searching for the hacks. They're searching for the shortcuts right now, right? You can feel tens of thousands of people typing on Facebook groups, on Google, on Twitter. They're like, oh my God, I want the hack. How this guy did it. How this guy grew his page to 30,000 followers when like 9 months ago, he didn't even have Instagram, right? And I've been on Instagram for 5 years. I had no idea. Well, it's because he figured out the system. He drew the system. he understood deeply, and he found the places where he can draw attention from. It's very simple. Okay, how dislikes. I hope you like this. Yeah, this is gonna be posted on like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So follow me there if you want to see more episodes of this. And this is exactly what I was talking about, right? We started from one word here, and then I remember the story, and we went to the story, and then we went into this whole concept. We learned a little bit about contribution, content production, distribution. We ended up with the map of Instagram. Like, this is better than what a $1,000 Instagram course will ever teach you, right? Because what they do is they have this backbone, and they kind of like spoon feed you like a baby information, but instead you just have to understand how it works. If you understand how it works, you can come up with every single tactics that I've employed, because it's not hard, right? They were, I mean, okay, we knew people, we would get their attention if we would send notification. I mean, then it's very simple. Just maximize the amount of follow, likes, and comments that you give every single day. You knew that you would get awareness on your profile if they see your post in those feeds. Just maximize the feed, right? Maximize your hashtags, maximize your explore feed, maximize your news feed. The good part and the hard part for me was understanding which of those were worth it and which of those were not, because hashtags, I knew it was not worth it, but it took me like 3 months to test that, right? Explore feed, that was where every single good account that was growing was basing his strategy on. Then just I could talk about this for days, but tomorrow we're gonna get back to this, and we're kind of probably gonna take some of the information. Let me just write a little bit down here, because just marketing is not enough, right? So okay, let's see, marketing. What we talked about? We talked about content production, and then we talked about distribution, right? We talked about distribution, and then we talked a little bit about my journey with marketing, and we said that we started with Instagram. We said the story of 365 Romania. We talked about like understanding. Okay, so understanding the funnel to funnel that got me what I wanted, and that was a follower. By the way, this was my success measure, and the funnel was someone follows me, right? This was the bottom. So someone follows me, someone has to like my content, then we have someone has to visit my profile, and to visit my profile, he has to see my stuff somewhere, whether it's a feed or through other interactions like likes, follows, comments. Okay, and then you go and go and go. Okay, this is good enough. This is good enough. Like Emmanuel, when we look at May of 8th, when we started this marketing from scratch idea, is not going to look like, hey, wow, this guy just wrote marketing and that's how I started. But that's how I started, marketing from scratch. See you tomorrow.